The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is an expanded reimagining of the 2013 video game The Stanley Parable, which was the definitive version of the 2011 Half-Life 2 mod, The Stanley Parable. While it's come a long way since that original version, it remains a very odd experience, one that you're better off experiencing for yourself. If you have already done that, or you don't mind some spoilers, then keep watching, because we'll be looking at Easter eggs in The Stanley Parable. For example, the confusion ending occurs when you go to the break room, head through the maintenance hallway, and then go down the elevator. This confuses the narrator, and he walks you through multiple resets as you attempt to find the plot. By the end, you're following the Stanley Parable adventure line in an attempt to stay on track. While doing this, just before entering the room with a swinging light, if you turn right and look down, you'll find a mask. This shouldn't be here. This belongs to Dallas from Payday the Heist and Payday 2. I'm not sure if there's any real reason why this is here, but it is, so there you go. Another neat detail can be found in the bomb ending, where you follow the narrator's instructions all the way to the mind control facility but press on instead of off. This initiates a 2-minute countdown, which is impossible to stop. Looking at the big red imposing screen, you can see a string of characters in the upper right corner. Turns out this is actually part of a YouTube video URL, specifically this one of Tim Minchin's 3-minute song uploaded back in 2011. Next, when you are in the cargo lift room, on the wall beyond an impassable fence are 3 dots. While seemingly innocuous, these dots also appear throughout another game written and developed by Davey Wreden, The Beginner's Guide. In that game, the dots are far more numerous and some attention is actually brought to them, but it came 2 years after the Stanley Parable, so this might be the original appearance of those dots. As for their purpose, I don't think they have anything. They're just there to confuse and mystify players. Or maybe they're the key to some grand conspiracy. I'll leave that up to you. If you don't know, this game has a lot of mysterious motifs that may or may not have meaning, like the number 8. There's an achievement that has the title of 88, which is unlocked by pressing 8888 in the keypad in the boss's office.
8.
Every forklift has the number 8 on the side, and there are apparently 8 forklifts throughout the game. There are also 8 light-up ceiling lights in the 2 doors room, and 8 mugs in the break room. There's a lot of instances of the number 8 in this game, some of which are probably just coincidental. I imagine still that many of these occurrences are on purpose. I'm not sure why. Maybe 8 is prevalent because it has the same shape as infinity, or it's just a number. Who knows? Another recurring thing is the various references to Employee 432. So, for context, Stanley is Employee 427. Employee 432's desk is just outside Stanley's office to the left. It's the only employee's desk that you'll pass that does not have a computer, just a single pencil sharpener. Also, you barely find pencils throughout the game, just wanted to mention that. On your way to the phone room accessible by staying on the cargo lift, you can find a box full of pencil sharpeners with the number 432 on it. In the mind control facility, you can find a document called Employee Observation Protocol. Interestingly, it explains that if an employee begins exhibiting unscheduled emotions, immediately contact supervisor. Please note that Employee 432 is a test case. Procedure 1A does not apply. It lists various employees' progress for that time period. Employee 432's is showing signs of non-compliance. Do not adjust empathy values. HR is running another prize pool. In the schedule written down on one of the whiteboards in the meeting room, one box says what to do about 432, and then don't tell 432 about the meeting, in parentheses. Also, in the confusion ending mentioned earlier, there's a paper called Daily Performance Review, and it's for Employee 432. The blue text says that 432 is terrible at their job and questions authority at every turn. He asks stupid questions like, where am I and how do I get out of here? Apparently he also keeps attempting to think outside the box. Whoever made this review also made sure to write I hate him twice. Also in that ending, right after seeing the Dallas mask, you'll go through the document storage areas. There's sections for monthly ledgers, corporate imbalances, departmental accounts, and so on. There's also a large section of the hallway marked as Employee 432 peer reviews, with a room filled with many boxes closed off by a door with the same label. Also, the number 432 is divisible by 8. It's also worth mentioning that either randomly or under some obscure circumstances that I'm not aware of, when starting a new run, another person can be seen very briefly walking through the inaccessible hallway beyond Employee 425's office. The identity of this wandering employee is unclear, as they use the same character model and texture as Stanley, seen in certain endings. Perhaps this person is a hallucination, or a glimpse at another timeline where Stanley goes through the confusion ending, or Employee 432. I don't know. I'll let you argue your interpretation in the comments below. Now, let's jump back in time to stuff exclusive in the 2013 version. While playing normally, pressing keys on your keyboard to type out face punch will cause almost every texture to change to that of a stylized face punch logo. If you don't know, Face Punch is the name of the video game studio founded by Gary Newman back in 2004. That studio created Garry's Mod as well as Rust and some other games. There was also an internet video game forum hosted by Face Punch under the same name, where Stanley Parable creator Davey Wreden frequented. So this texture changing code is a fun shout out to one of the creator's favorite forums, which is also the forum where the original 2011 mod got a lot of attention. The Face Punch forums has since been discontinued, but that thread link's code is 1112800, a number that can be found throughout Stanley Parable, like on that previously mentioned document. From there, it's worth noting that the 2011 version was made in the Source engine, while the Ultra Deluxe version was ported over to Unity. As such, you can't access any sort of console commands for the Ultra Deluxe version, but you can in the 2011 version. Like for example, bark replaces the action button sound, either pressing E or mouse click, with barking. It's fun to mess with.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled.
The code Raphael replaces every instance of the narrator's dialogue with lines of him just saying Stanley in various ways.
Stanley. 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 Stanley.
Most importantly, the code SV_cheats1 normally enables server cheats. It's a common code in Source games. In Stanley Parable, it instead loads the player into a closed-off room where the narrator scolds Stanley for trying to cheat. He attempts to reinforce how serious he is by showing off his very serious table. Using the code again will reload you into the same room, and the narrator will again scold Stanley. On the second or third use, the narrator will question whether or not his table is serious enough to get across his message, and will choose to go shopping for a new one. After that, no more dialogue will occur in this serious room. Now from here we'll be looking at stuff that can only be found in the Ultra Deluxe version, so continue if you don't mind spoilers for that. First off, the so-called whiteboard ending is still present in the game, but it's a bit more rewarding because, well, if you don't know, when restarting the game, there's a chance that you'll find the office having a blue carpet. This means that you can now open door 426 to find the whiteboard. In the original version, it said console bark, which would tell you to use the console command bark. But now, because there's no console commands, it just says dog mode with a checkbox. Pressing the interact key toggles the previously mentioned barking sound effect. Now, there are some fun bits to be found in the game's ending, where you repeatedly ignore the narrator's instructions. This frustrates the narrator into offering a totally original game where you press a button to prevent a cardboard baby from moving into a fire. You can play this, and there is an ending for playing for 4 hours like he suggests, but if you refuse to play or just give up, it will result in the baby in the fire, and he'll just send you to someone else's game. In the original Half-Life mod, this was the actual start of Half-Life 2. In the 2013 version, you were sent to Minecraft before the narrator gets annoyed by the open-endedness and chooses to teleport you to somewhere more walled off, the start of Portal 1. Fun fact, much like in the actual Portal 1, you can break the first puzzle if you manage to get the cube stuck on the other side of the door. Doing this leads to this interaction.
Now, how did you manage that? Are you really trapped in here? I'm actually quite impressed. I don't think there's a simpler puzzle out there, and you've still broken it. Well, since I don't intend to open that door, I guess you and this giant button just need to get cozy together. A dream for you, I'm sure. Enjoy.
As for the Ultra Deluxe version, the open world game is Firewatch. While I couldn't identify anything in here that's unique to the Stanley Parable version of The Room, it is worth mentioning that The Patriot by Donald Anderson is a reference to Metal Gear Solid. In it, Donald Anderson is a character that appears throughout the series, and they are a founding member of the in-universe group, The Patriots. So that's a cool reference to Metal Gear Solid, but that's more of a Firewatch Easter egg. Oh well. Another out-of-game thing can be found in the Stanley Parable 2 Expo Hall. a space accessible by going through the new content door that appears after playing through the game for a bit. In the expo hall, there are a lot of fun exhibits along with a merch booth. On the merch booth is a QR code that leads to StanleyParable2.com. While the page doesn't contain all that much, there is an embedded YouTube video called The Stanley Parable Sequels and You. This includes about 10 minutes of the narrator narrating over old-timey footage.
Here's the man who invented breathing, which is the sequel to suffocating and dying a slow death.
There is an offhanded reference to the Time Wars, Time Dracula, and promises of a cow egg capable of producing over 1,000 cows. Much like the rest of the game, it's confusing and mostly nonsensical, but it's fun, so I include a link in the description if you want to check that out. Also, rest in peace Billy, we hardly knew ya. Another part of the new content and Stanley Parable 2 is the jump circle. It's a circle where you can jump. It's crazy. You're not supposed to be able to jump outside of the circle, but it's either a glitch, oversight, or intentional that you can restart from the beginning while within the circle, and you'll keep the ability to jump until you quit the game. While I'm sure this can be used to break certain sections, it can actually also be used to get over some boxes to reach this neat Easter egg.
Path that it seemed the office had begun was so far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun was so far off the beaten path.
It's a message that says, "Praise the jumping," with an apparition pointing upwards. It's a really cool reference to the Dark Souls series, where players can place messages that other players in other worlds can find. Maybe Employee 432 wrote this message before entering the fog gates to fight his boss. But also, maybe not. The last Easter egg I'd like to highlight involves the Mind Control Facility's observation room. The narrator actually explains things pretty well, so I'll just let him talk in full. Enjoy.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours, so here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, "Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done."
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job.
Nice. So let's end things there. Thank you for watching. Big thanks to my channel members for their support, and an open world sized thanks to Captain Crayfish for being a super fan. This game is a bit different from what I usually cover, but I hope you enjoyed it regardless. And if you did enjoy it, maybe leave a like, consider subscribing, and why not check out some of my other stuff. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.